What's up, guys and gals, for not the latest piece of One Piece quite yet, but we are back again, almost like I was just here. Anyways, chapter 1142, we're still playing on the March catch-up schedule. So, chapter 1142 of One Piece, What I'm Afraid Of. Now, as I said, we're streamlining a few of these reviews. This one will be even more streamlined than the last review, because cover page is quite simple, nothing to talk about. Yamato comes in and one-shots Who's Who. Not really that surprising. Jinbei managed to pretty much fold up Who's Who without too much, I wouldn't argue, I would say mid to high diff at best. And Yamato, we know, was able to hold off her own father and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by this. Who's Who might be powerful, but not Yamato level powerful, right? Once again. So, anyways, moving on, most of the chapter is about these creatures that came from one of the God's Knight's Devil Fruits. The ability to obviously turn nightmares into reality. It's some real Freddy Krueger level shit, okay? And it's everything that the children fear. Jormungandr, everything they've been told, every nightmare and story. So we have a version of Loki out there. We have the giant snake. We have, this giant wolf like Fenrir. Anything that the kids have ever been told of as like a bedtime story, So if you were raised on things like Little Red Riding Hood and Sleeping Beauty and stuff, there'd be a big dragon and of course the big bad wolf and stuff. Those would be manifested, right? The children are asleep. They're walking while they've been, towards the ship. Obviously, whatever ship that has been docked, created into Elbaf all of a sudden, a world government ship. Okay, sure. That the God's Knights have now tried to, of course, kidnap the children. So immediately at the school or whatever, or right outside the school, this giant snake beast tries to attack them and stuff. The principal and the other teachers jump right into action and stuff like that. No one gets immediately hurt because obviously Principal Walrus comes up with this giant hammer and slam, baby, and X-slam. And it's wonderful. It's beautiful and stuff. And then Saul just jumps off a tree branch and says, fuck this. Boom! Hockey's up and slams this thing down. So this thing is defeated, but it doesn't look like it disappears in any way, shape, or form. So the principal and Saul are both like, what the hell is going on here, sort of idea. Robin inquires, like, are monsters this size usually in the Sun World? He's like, no, this is really rare, especially one so big and wild getting past us and stuff like that. This is really rare. Then we see one of the other teachers, the Mr. Wolf, the gym teacher, he's laying there completely bloodied up and stuff and says, forget about me. He's like, what happened to you? Forget about me. Go after the children. They're in this trance. They're walking this way. Go after the children, but you must not touch the children. And we're like, wait, what? So we see them in the single file line that they're all asleep and they're all just wandering in the same direction, blow the horn and warn the whole country and stuff like that. It's time, and we see that more of these demons have manifested, more of these nightmarish creatures have manifested. And in this chapter, as I said, we figure it out, or one of the other teachers, I forget what the teacher, let me scroll up here, one of the teachers brings it up. It's, Miss Ange. Miss Ange, the language teacher, the librarian, she brings it up that this is, obviously, it has something to relate to that in some way, shape, or form. It must, because, these are all the things that was brought up in class, and they all seem to manifest in that way. She doesn't know how it's happening, but that's brought up later in the chapter. We jump over to Loki once again with his two-handed, giant-ass hammer, Ragnir, and it's just like, okay. And he's just like, you think one sea stone handcuff? Once again, bringing up the idea that, like with hockey, if it's powerful enough, can negate devil fruit abilities even, as we saw with Law and stuff like that, confirmed. And as we sort of had to basically surmise this ability from the fact that the top tiers, Roger, Garp, Shanks, none of these guys had devil fruits. And yet they were still strong enough to fight some of the most broken abilities by hockey users, and they still went toe-to-toe. So obviously, if you have enough hockey, enough power, you can do this, right? So, but Loki's of the same idea with the Sea Stone. He's like, you think you can stop, you can't stop all my power with only one measly cuff, you know what I mean? Like, I'm standing, and if you want to save Elbath, you'll do what I say now. And he's like, and if you don't, I'll bring you all to ruin. And he loads it up, looks like Conqueror's Hockey on his hammer to me. And I wonder if Ragnar being one of the 12 supreme grade swords, because once again, they're supposed to be, first it was swords, and then after Whitebeard's Naginata was revealed to be Vicento was revealed to be one. Then they said, okay, it's bladed weapons. And once again, the Kanabo of Kaiba was, of Kaido was, I got Yu-Gi-Oh on the brain obviously, was not considered one, but it's in that class or something like that was revealed in SBS. I'm curious if the hammer counts. I wonder if it'll just change straight up to the 12 supreme grade weapons, you know, because I would not be surprised if this fucking hammer would be one of the 12. Because once again, we're into final arc territory. We only know about like 4 of the goddamn swords. It's like, come on. Or 5. Like 4 or 5 of them. We need another like 7. So, like, let's start revealing them. And who better than Loki? Once again, I'm actually really surprised that neither of Odin's swords were supreme grade in Wano. You know what I mean? They're both just part of the 21. Still awesome pedigree, but still the 21, not the 12. So, Loki decides to slam this conquered up hammer Ragnar into the Atom Tree. Lightning comes by, like, crashing down and stuff like that. Does he have a lightning devil fruit? Like, once again, Eneru had the Logia version of a lightning fruit. It doesn't mean that there's not some other form of a lightning or storm fruit of some description that would be a paramecia. Or, I mean, probably not a zone in this case, but anything like that, right? So, we know there's multiple forms of fire fruits and things like that. This could be some form of a lightning fruit, because lightning does seemingly shoot down from the sky when he slams it in. Or is it shooting out? It's sort of hard to see. But either way, if it's shooting out or inward, or if it's the hammer itself, I'm going to go off on a limb and say he didn't summon lightning down from the sky, but he slammed it into the tree and lightning burst from his strike in the hammer. Is that the hammer's ability? Like, once again, Thor, God of Thunder, if Ragnar is supposed to be Mjolnir in some description. You know, there's a lot we could unpack with that one. Either way, he lights fire to some of the branches of the tree and stuff like that, of the Atom Tree. This is where Miss Ange brings up earlier today that asks, what are you scared of? Like, who do you think is a monster? What is scary? Nika, Loki, Jormungandr, the undead, storms, ghosts, goblins, and all this stuff. Brought it up, and now they don't know how or why, but all these things in this big double page spread, we're seeing them. We're seeing all the children's dreams and how they view them manifested into this form, and this is what terrifies the children the most. We know it's the God Knights causing this. Now, they say that the time limit is until the kids reach the ship. So obviously they have a ship docked somewhere, but how would they get a government ship or a ship that Elbath, like within the realm of Elbath, this quickly, where they were transported from Marijois to here? How do they just have a ship standing by? Like, who's contacted? Like, this is insanity. So I still don't know where the ship is coming from and stuff, right? But obviously Killingham is the one who's done all this, created all this, demons come to life from he's got the Freddy Krueger know me, right? And it's like, okay, so this is, but it is apparently does have a time limit of some description. He goes back to sleep or something like that. We don't know why he sleeps all the time. Maybe that's part of the devil fruit. Now this is where Gunko has asked one question. What are you afraid of? And she says Nika to end the chapter. Now, is this a really good chapter? It's a pretty good setup chapter. Loki attacking the tree was pretty obvious in some description, or that he was going to attack or outburst in some way. That was pretty obvious from the last chapter. Ragnar, obviously, I'm thinking that they're sort of combining the two characters of Thor and Loki into this Loki. I think that's sort of what Oda is doing here, combining both traits, especially with the hammer that obviously caused a bunch of lightning just now. Pretty on the nose for Mjolnir, is what it is, but I do enjoy the visuals that it's not like this really decadent, like really eldritch horror version, but very cartoonish. The way that children would imagine them, the way that children would draw them. You know what I mean? It's very, they're very dangerous and they're very big and they're terrifying and they're giant, but they're cartoonish in the sense because the children's minds are childlike. I like that aesthetic as far as the choice for the Devil Fruit Gross, and some of them are more detailed, like Jormungandr and the dragons and stuff. They're more detailed because some of them are just based off of imagination. You know what I mean? They're just based off of what they think this looks like, right? So, anyways, it is what it is. 1142 was pretty good as a setup chapter, but once again, it was basically just 2 scenes. In all fairness, Loki attacked the tree, and he's fully awake now. We got to deal with him. And number 2 is that the children are being abducted by the God's Knights. We don't see Shamrock anymore. I think he went back in one of the chapters. I might have missed the line or something. And but the God's Knights are obviously trying to kidnap the children, and now chaos has ensued in Elbath already. So is what it is. But let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you sooner rather than later once again for another chapter on the catch-up month in April for the March chapters of One Piece. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Like, comment, subscribe. See you back next time. See ya.